Well, I'm afraid we all have to accept that this will probably be the weekly offering for Warhammer Plus for the foreseeable future. We've got one animation and two shows, and it adds up to about an hour and 15 of content. Now, I love to be spoon-fed my content, I love structure, but even I'm disappointed with what we're actually getting. I think it's plain to see that we won't suddenly get loads more shows to watch and a lot more animations to choose from. Hammer and Bolter hasn't been seen since week 1, and I think what they'll probably do is make that kind of filler between the bigger animated series. So once Angels of Death finishes, have a couple of Hammer and Bolters, and then they'll move on to the next big animation. Shelf Hammer and Bolter for that time, and then bring it back at the end of that animation. I'll be honest here, I feel shortchanged. If you're watching this, then you probably love the Warhammer universe as much as I do, but one animated show, regardless of your love for the setting, is just pathetic. I'm not daft, I do understand that it takes a long time to make these animations, but if that's the case and you don't have enough content, do not launch your entire platform on animations, because everyone's going to feel a wee bit down after that. Everyone will feel disappointed. It's just not delivering. I expected more, much more if I'm honest, even if that wasn't very realistic. If you break it down over a year, at this current pace we'll end up with about 55 animations and about 110 of the other shows between Loremasters, Battle Report and Masterclass. And while that might sound a lot, bear in mind that there might be stuff that you're not interested in one week. For me, the Age of Sigmar stuff is going to be secondary to the Warhammer 40k stuff. If we get an Age of Sigmar battle report instead of a 40k one, that doesn't interest me that much. Same for Loremasters, it might be an Age of Sigmar episode. So bear in mind that you might not like every single thing that's released, so that further cuts down on the amount of content. It is quite possible that in the future I will not open the app one single time during a week, even with new releases on it, which is a damn shame. And I'm only upset because I do really enjoy it, and I'm a fan, and I want all this stuff, and I think the promises, they overpromised and underdelivered, and I think a lot of people will feel like that. I really hope they surprise us one week and have a bumper release, but the hopes of that are fading fast. I'd love to hear what you think about this, and whether you think that this drip-fed approach will be what will happen for the rest of the year, or if it's going to ramp up at any point. And if you want, throw me a like, or maybe even a wee subscribe. As usual, I'll tell you what I think of each show, and then we can all start pining for next week. Loremasters got an episode 2, and this week it's Archmage Teclis. I don't know as much about Teclis as I do Abaddon, but it was still a fairly enjoyable watch. I still get the feeling that it's just too high level. They don't really delve down into any of the stories. They've got all the lore writers, the actual lore writers at their disposal, and they don't seem to be getting used at all. I thought Loremasters would be one of my favourite shows, but it's too broad. It's not for me at the moment, and I guess that might just be what Loremasters is. Might just be for newer people, or people just wanting a quick watch rather than something to put on while you paint. So it is what it is. Masterclass is up next, and this week it was about painting Auric Flesh for the new Cruel Boys. Now, one thing that annoyed me, they can't even spell Cruel Boys in the title of the video. They've spelled it two different ways in the body of the text and the title, but that's just a minor thing, but a wee bit of quality control there. I really appreciate the in-depth approach that this takes, and the camera that they use is absolutely amazing, maybe even a bit too good. It gets really close in on the action, and it shows up every brush stroke. For a learner, this is really good because you can see where to place the highlights and how thick your paint should be. It also shows newer painters that you don't need perfectly smooth blends for your miniature to look good at tabletop distance. I know this is practically the heavy metal approach that we're seeing here, but I always get the feeling that Louise takes it just one or two steps too far, like the highlights are too bright or something, but I guess that's why she's a top painter and I'm not. I can't speak about Angels of Death this week without some minor spoilers. I'll make it as vague as I can regarding plot, but I feel I have to speak about it. We were left in a bit of a cliffhanger last week, and I was really keen to see how that played out. Now, someone in the comments said, "Just you watch, it will switch to space, and we won't find out." And I thought, surely not. I mean, that's a good storytelling technique. The Walking Dead use it quite a lot, but they wouldn't do that to us. Well, guess what? Yep, you got it. Frustration aside, this delivered yet again, albeit at a different pace. It was 29 minutes long, so it's essentially a double episode, but it was packed full of backstory and it really set the scene for what's to come. So, yet again, my favourite thing on Warhammer Plus by a mile. So that's it for another week. I really hope you enjoyed it. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.